Deep within the walls of Buckingham Palace, on a rain-swept evening in late October 2025, King Charles III sat alone in his private study. The room was dimly lit by a single lamp, casting long shadows across antique bookshelves and portraits of past monarchs. Outside, thunder rumbled over London, mirroring the turmoil in the king's mind. For months, whispers had circulated about old scandals resurfacing, tying the royal family to names that could no longer be ignored. But tonight, something snapped. Charles, usually composed and measured in his public demeanor, felt a surge of frustration boil over. He reached for a camera setup, one typically reserved for official addresses, and began recording a message that would send shock waves through the family and beyond. This was no polished speech drafted by aides. It was raw, direct, and aimed squarely at his daughter-in-law, Meghan Markle. As the red light blinked on, Charles's voice carried an edge rarely heard from the sovereign. He spoke of boundaries, consequences, and the need to draw a line. What exactly did he say, and why now? The answers lie in a web of letters, scandals, and shifting family dynamics that have been building for years. The king's decision to record this video came after a series of private correspondences that had escalated tensions. According to sources close to the palace, Meghan had been writing to Charles repeatedly, seeking clarity and perhaps intervention on matters linked to public scrutiny. These weren't casual notes. They were formal letters expressing concerns about how certain associations were being handled in the media. Charles, burdened by his own brother's fallout from similar issues, saw this as a tipping point. He had already taken decisive action against Prince Andrew, stripping him of titles and evicting him from royal residences in October 2025. As announced by Buckingham Palace, this move was praised by some as a necessary step to distance the monarchy from controversy. But it also highlighted the family's vulnerabilities. Now, with Meghan's name appearing in peripheral discussions related to the same scandal, Charles felt compelled to act. The video, leaked fragments of which began circulating online shortly after, revealed a monarch protecting the institution at all costs. He emphasized that the crown could not intervene in personal, legal, or media battles, drawing a parallel to Andrew's situation. But the most surprising element was his delegation of authority to Catherine, the Princess of Wales, to speak on such matters. This choice signaled a shift in how the family would handle crisis, placing trust in Catherine's steady public image. As the recording progressed, Charles's tone grew firmer. He addressed Meghan directly, urging her to step back and allow the palace's chosen representative to manage inquiries. This wasn't just about one issue. It reflected deeper frustrations within the family. For years, the Sussexes' decisions to step away from royal duties had created rifts, and now, with external pressures mounting, Charles sought to unify the families, respond under a more traditional banner. The storm outside seemed to echo the internal one, as aides later described the king pacing the room post-recording, contemplating the fallout. Little did he know this message would ignite debates about loyalty, power, and the future of the monarchy. But to understand why Charles chose this path, we must delve into the origins of the scandal that prompted it all. The Epstein affair has loomed over high-profile figures for over a decade, resurfacing in waves with each new document, release, or testimony. Jeffrey Epstein, the financier whose network spanned celebrities, politicians, and royals, became a symbol of unchecked influence. In the royal context, Prince Andrew's association with him drew the most scrutiny, leading to Andrew's withdrawal from public duties in 2019 and his eventual title removal in 2025. King Charles ascending the throne amid these echoes has navigated the fallout carefully, issuing statements through the palace that emphasize accountability without direct involvement. But in recent months, attention turned to other tangential mentions, including Meghan Markle. Court documents from Epstein's cases unsealed in early 2024 referenced her name in passing. Witnesses like Johanna Sauberg recalled Epstein boasting about knowing various celebrities, including the Duchess of Sussex, though no evidence suggested direct meetings or involvement. These claims, amplified by media and online speculation, placed Meghan in an uncomfortable spotlight, prompting her to seek palace support. Charles's response in the video drew explicit parallels to Andrew's case, stating that individuals must face their own consequences without royal shielding. This stands aligned with his actions toward his brother, where he initiated processes to remove titles and honors, as detailed in palace announcements. The king's frustrations stemmed from repeated requests for intervention, which he viewed as attempts to leverage the monarchy's influence. Reports indicate Meghan's letters to Charles, starting as early as 2023, initially focused on other family matters like unconscious bias. Feud evolved to include concerns over media handling of these Epstein-related rumors. By 2025, with fresh emails and testimonies emerging, the pressure intensified. Charles heckled publicly about Andrew's ties during a visit to Lichfield in October 2012, grew weary of the family's name being dragged through ongoing controversies. This backdrop set the stage for the video. Charles, known for his environmental advocacy and measured diplomacy, rarely displays anger publicly. Yet, insiders describe a buildup of exasperation fueled by the monarchy's need to modernize while preserving its dignity. Delegating to Catherine was a strategic move, recognizing her role in effective royal communications since her marriage in 2011. Catherine has handled sensitive announcements like her 2020 for cancer diagnosis video with poise that resonates globally. By empowering her, Charles aimed to centralize responses, avoiding fragmented family statements. But this decision also highlighted underlying tensions as Meghan's independent path clashed with the palace's unified front. Correspondence has long been a tool for royal diplomacy, but in the modern era, it carries risks of leaks and misinterpretation. Meghan's letters to King Charles began in the aftermath of her 2021 Oprah interview, where she raised issues of unconscious bias within the family. By April 2023, reports confirmed she had written to express concerns about how such matters were addressed, seeking a one-on-one discussion. Charles responded with his own letters, acknowledging the points, but emphasizing family unity. These exchanges, detailed in Omid Scobie's 2023 book, Endgame, revealed a monarch grappling with generational divides. As Epstein documents resurfaced in 2024 and 2025, Meghan's communications reportedly shifted. Sources suggest she sought palace clarification on handling media inquiries about any perceived links, fearing reputational damage. Ghislaine Maxwell's prison claims in 2025, alleging knowledge of Meghan's Hollywood past, added fuel, though unsubstantiated. Meghan, living in California, viewed these as baseless attacks, prompting her to request intervention. Charles, however, saw parallels to Andrew's pleas for support, which he had rejected to protect the crown. His video message referenced these repeated writings urging surrender to independent handling. This epistolary back and forth underscores the family's communication challenges. Meghan's approach, direct and assertive, contrasts with traditional royal restraint. Charles's delegation to Catherine signals a preference for her empathetic style seen in initiatives like the Forward Trust patronage. As leaks of the video emerged, it sparked questions about privacy and power dynamics. In the video captured on a simple setup in his study amid the opulent yet somber surroundings of Buckingham Palace, King Charles appeared stern, his face edged with resolve under the soft glow of desk lamps that highlighted the lines of fatigue from years of royal burdens. The footage, reportedly recorded in a moment of uncharacteristic candor, showed the monarch dressed in a tailored suit seated at a historic oak desk cluttered with state papers and family photographs. Mrs. Meghan Markle has repeatedly written to the palace seeking or intervention in the Epstein matter, he stated, his voice steady but laced with unmistakable irritation. The words delivered with the measured precision of someone accustomed to diplomatic restraint, yet pushed to its limits. But like Andrew, she must face her own consequences. The crown cannot shield her. If the press or authorities inquire, Catherine will address it. Catherine will address it. He paused for emphasis, his gaze piercing directly into the camera before adding firmly, Catherine will speak on my behalf. This direct address, highly unusual for a monarch, who typically communicates through official channels or prepared speeches, reflected a breaking point after months of internal deliberations and escalating family pressures. Insiders familiar with palace operations suggest that the recording was not intended for immediate public release, but served as a private communique, perhaps initially shared within a tight circle of advisors before its eventual leak. The message's anger was palpable in his delivery, a notable departure from his usual calm and composed public persona, which has been honed through decades of service and recent challenges like his own health battles. Reports from those close to the king indicate that this outburst stemmed from a culmination of frustrations, particularly in the wake of decisive actions against his brother, Prince Andrew. Just weeks earlier, in October 2025, Charles had stripped Andrew of his remaining royal titles and honors, a move announced by Buckingham Palace that underscored the monarch's commitment to accountability amid ongoing scrutiny. By invoking Andrew explicitly in the video, Charles drew a firm boundary, insisting that personal matters must remain separate from the institution off-crown, a principle he has enforced rigorously to safeguard the monarchy's reputation. This parallel was not coincidental. It echoed Charles's public heckling during a visit to Lichfield in October 2025, where a protester questioned him about Andrew's associations, prompting the king to reaffirm his stance on non-inference. Empowering Catherine, the Princess of Wales, to handle any related inquiries was a pragmatic and strategic choice, leveraging her proven track record in public relations. For instance, her handling of photo editing controversies in 2024 demonstrated her ability to navigate media storms with transparency and grace, bolstering the family's credibility at a time when trust in institutions is fragile. More recently, in November 200 to Wives, Catherine delivered her first public speech since her cancer diagnosis, addressing business leaders at the Future Workforce Summit with a powerful message about prioritizing love, time, and tenderness alongside professional success, showcasing her empathetic communication style that resonates widely. The video's leak, possibly originating from within palace channels or through unauthorized digital sharing, amplified its impact far beyond the intended audience. It not only highlighted Charles's broader strategy to consolidate authority and streamline family responses to crisis, but also exposed underlying vulnerability in royal relations, sparking widespread media analysis and public discourse. Commentators noted how this move positioned Catherine as a central figure in the monarchy's modern face, potentially signaling a generational shift in how sensitive issues are managed. Yet, it also raised questions about the sustainability of such firm lines, especially as sensational claims linking distant family members to old scandals continued to surface in 2025, including unsubstantiated assertions from figures like Ghislaine Maxwell about Hollywood connections. In essence, the recording encapsulated Charles's determination to protect the crown's integrity, even if it meant confronting uncomfortable family dynamics head-on. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, has steadily evolved into a pivotal communicator and stabilizer within the monarchy, especially under King Charles's reign. Her poignant 2024 video addressing her health challenges exemplified a new era of royal transparency and empathy, effectively modernizing how the family engages with the public and humanizing the institution amid personal trials. This approach not only garnered widespread support, but also set a precedent for handling sensitive matters with grace, contrasting with more traditional reserved royal communications. King Charles's Decisionto delegate inquiries related to the Epstein matter to her highlights a profound level of trust in her judgment and diplomatic skills, positioning her as a trusted intermediary in navigating the family's most delicate controversies. Catherine's background provides a strong foundation for these responsibilities. Born Catherine Middleton in 1982, she earned an art history degree from the University of St. Andrews, where she met Prince William, fostering a partnership rooted in shared intellectual pursuits. Her pre-royal life, including a gap year spent volunteering in Chile and studying in Italy, instilled resilience and a global perspective. Transitioning into royal duties, she has championed numerous charities such as the Royal Foundation, focusing on early childhood development through initiatives like Shaping Us, launched in 2023 to promote mental health and family support. Her patronages extend to organizations like the Anna Freud Center for Mental Health and Place to Be, where she advocates for children's well-being, often visiting schools and hospitals to lend a personal touch. This empowerment cements her as a vital bridge between the monarchy's storied traditions and the demands of a modern, scrutiny-filled world. In recent months, amid ongoing speculations about family scandals, Catherine has maintained a dignified silence, channeling her energy into high-profile engagements. For instance, her appearance at the 2025 Royal Variety performance alongside Prince William showcased her poise, subtly debuting a new conjugal coat of arms that symbolizes their unified front. Reports indicate her instrumental role in enforcing a zero-tolerance policy toward Prince Andrew scandals, supporting King Charles in protecting the monarchy's integrity and future. Her comeback following health setbacks has been credited with boosting the family's image, particularly in the wake of Andrew-related turmoil, as she delivered speeches to business leaders and participated in events that reaffirm royal relevance. Furthermore, Catherine's protective stance is evident in her reported involvement in managing communications, including blocking certain outreach from the Sussexes in 2025, which underscores her commitment to safeguarding the core family Scotian. By taking on such roles, she effectively shields King Charles from direct entanglement in contentious issues, enabling him to concentrate on broader priorities like environmental advocacy and international diplomacy. Royal experts note that Charles views her as a modern future queen, recognizing her ability to connect with younger generations and embody the evolving face of the monarchy. This strategic positioning not only enhances her influence, but also prepares her for an even greater role when William ascends, where she will serve as queen consort, supporting the crown with her blend of compassion, professionalism, and forward-thinking vision. The release of King Charles's video message triggered a cascade of reactions within the royal family, exposing long, simmering divisions and prompting introspection about loyalty and legacy. Prince William, as the heir apparent, offered quiet but unwavering support for his father's decisive stance, viewing it as a necessary measure to safeguard the monarchy's integrity amid ongoing scandals. Sources close to William indicate that his alignment stems from years of frustration with family members whose actions have invited public scrutiny, including his uncle Andrew's persistent ties to Epstein, which William has reportedly regarded with deep disdain, labeling him internally as a figure to be distanced from at all costs. This support also reflects William's broader efforts to stabilize the institution, especially as tensions with his brother Harry and sister-in-law Meghan have lingered since their 2020 exit from senior royal duties. Public revelations in books, interviews, and documentaries have only deepened these rifts, with William prioritizing the core family's unity over reconciliation attempts. Catherine, thrust into the spotlight as the designated spokesperson, approached her new role with characteristic readiness tempered by caution. Known for her emphasis on family harmony and mental health advocacy, she has privately expressed a desire to handle inquiries with empathy, aiming to de-escalate rather than inflame situations. Her cautious outlook prioritizes preserving peace within the palace, even as she navigates the complexities of speaking on behalf of the crown on such sensitive matters. This delegation has positioned her as a stabilizing force, but it also underscores her growing influence in crisis management, a role she has honed through personal challenges like her health announcements. On the other side of the Atlantic, Meghan's team perceived the video as a stark rebuff, amplifying feelings of isolation from the royal fold. Insiders from her camp have voiced profound disappointment, interpreting Charles' refusal to intervene as a continuation of the family's pattern of non-support during media storms. The empowerment of Catherine, in particular, has intensified sensations of exclusion, with some suggesting it reinforces a narrative of favoritism toward those who remain within the traditional royal structure. Reports indicate Meghan may further distance herself from extended family members like princesses Eugenie and Beatrice, whose father's Epstein associations have cast a long shadow, making associations potentially damaging in the American public eye. Prince Harry, meanwhile, has remained largely silent. The past references in his memoir to Andrew's scandal highlight his awareness of how such issues affect security and family dynamics. Within Buckingham Palace, the video sparked intense internal debates among aides and senior royals about communication strategies in an era of rapid leaks and social media amplification. Some praised Charles's firmness as a bold step toward accountability, arguing it prevents the monarchy from being entangled in personal controversies, much like the ongoing concerns over Andrew's mental health and reputation amid fresh Epstein revelations. Others worried it could exacerbate public perceptions of division, urging a more conciliatory approach to mend transatlantic ties. These discussions have highlighted broader anxieties about the family's cohesion, with the Epstein shadow continuing to loom large, prompting calls for transparency while balancing privacy. Ultimately, this turmoil underscores the delicate balance between personal loyalties and institutional survival in a modern monarchy facing relentless scrutiny. The leak of King Charles's video message triggered an immediate frenzy across global media outlets, with major publications dissecting every frame and word for implications on royal cohesion. Headlines from outlets like CNN and BBC captured the drama, such as King Charles draws line on scandals, Meghan in the crosshairs, and royal rift deepens as Charles delegates to Catherine amid Epstein echoes. These stories not only questioned the family's unity, but also revisited historical tensions, drawing parallels to the Sussexes' 2020 departure and ongoing public spats. Public opinion, as reflected in recent polls, remained deeply divided. A YouGov survey from October 2025 showed that while 79% of Britons supported Charles' firm stance on accountability in similar cases like Prince Andrew's, a notable 20% viewed such interventions as overly harsh, potentially alienating younger demographics. Critics argue the king's angry tone risked portraying the monarchy as vindictive rather than impartial, fueling accusations of favoritism within family. Social media platforms exploded with debates. Hashtags like #HatchRoyalAccountability and #Meghan Epstein trending worldwide. Users dissected Meghan's peripheral mentions in Epstein documents, often amplifying baseless rumors from tabloids. Though legal experts and fact-checkers repeatedly dismissed any substantive connections, emphasizing that her name appeared only in passing boasts by Epstein without evidence of involvement. Supporters of Meghan highlighted the unfair scrutiny, pointing to double standards compared to other royals, while Charles's defenders praised his no-shield policy as a modernizing step. This online buzz extended to forums like Reddit and Instagram, where threads analyzed body language in the video, speculating on underlying family strains. Anticipation built around Catherine's potential role line, addressing inquiries given her proven track record in crisis management. From her poised 2024 health update to recent patronages like the Forward Trust, where she signed communications as Catherine to emphasize her formal duties, she has become synonymous with empathetic yet authoritative royal messaging. Analysts noted her appearances at events like the 2025 Royal Variety Performance, where her composed demeanor reinforced public trust. The incident reignited broader discussions on the monarchy's relevance, echoing Ipsos polls from November 2025, showing declining support among youth, with only 47% believing the institution benefits the country, down from previous years. Commentators warned that mishandling such scandals could accelerate calls for reform, placing additional pressure on the palace's communication strategy. This episode represents a watershed moment for the royal family, underscoring the establishment of clear boundaries and the strategic delegation of authority in an era of heightened scrutiny. King Charles's video, despite its controversial delivery, solidifies the Crown's policy of intervention in personal controversies, a principle echoed in his handling of Prince Andrew's title revocation earlier in 2025. which was seen as a bid to restore institutional integrity. By empowering Catherine to manage responses, Charles signals a shift toward a more collaborative leadership model, potentially expanding her influence in shaping future communications and public engagements. Her role could evolve to include more proactive crisis resolution, building on successes like her leadership at the 2025 Future Workforce Summit and Armistice Day tributes. For Meghan, the message reinforces her independence from palace support, pushing her further toward self-reliant advocacy through initiatives like Archewell, while highlighting the challenges of maintaining ties post-exit. As the monarchy charts its course through these turbulent times, fostering internal unity emerges as paramount to weathering external pressures. Recent polls, such as YouGov's October 2025 tracker, indicate a fractional uptick in Charles's approval to 62%. Suggesting that decisive actions can bolster public perception, though 29% still view him negatively. Similarly, Ipsos data from November 2025 shows 90% support for specific reforms like Andrew's demotion, hinting at broader acceptance of modernization efforts. However, generational divides persist, with Statista reporting that only about 40% of under 30s favor retaining the monarchy compared to over 80% among seniors. Thevedeo's legacy might forge a stronger, more resilient institution by prioritizing transparency and accountability, or it could exacerbate divisions if perceived as exclusionary. Experts like royal biographer Andrew Looney suggest that such moments test the monarchy's adaptability, drawing from historical precedents where scandals prompted reforms. Time will ultimately disclose the full ramifications, but for the present, it exemplifies the intricate balance required to merge centuries-old traditions with the demands of contemporary accountability and media-savvy governance. As discussions evolve, the focus may shift toward proactive measures such as enhanced public engagements and policy initiatives under Charles's reign to sustain relevance in a changing Britain.